Hi there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and today is Monday, September 28th. Yes, I got it right. Okay, so I have a really cute card for you today, but before we're going, we're Stampin' Up's promotions. So if you're interested in $125 worth of your choice of products, plus 2 stamp sets, plus some rhinestones, plus a pre-pack or a pre-cut pack of paper, all for $99 plus tax, you need to check out the Get and Go Starter Kit promotion. So you can go to my online store and check out the promotions and get all the information on that. But this ends September 30th, which, believe it or not, is just a couple days away. I can't believe that September's almost gone. And then be sure and come back in October, because in October, Stampin' Up has 15 different packs of designer series paper that'll be 15% off. So that's October's promotion with Stampin' Up, and trust me, I won't be missing that one. I love their designer series paper. So let's go on to today's card. So today's card's a very simple, not a lot of product kind of card. Looks like this, and the inside. And I'm going to show you how I got this snowman to be white on the crumb cake cardstock. So a while ago, I offered this card at one of my classes. Isn't that pretty? I love it for a man or masculine, or my sisters or anybody who loves the outdoors would love this card. But anyway, when I did this card, I had a bunch of these little crumb cakes. See how I used the stitched rectangle dies to cut this out. So I had a bunch of these laying around, and I thought, look, that is the perfect size for my snowman in the Snow Wonder stamp set. If you're interested in how I did this card, you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm sure it's somewhere on my YouTube channel, or leave me a message and I'll find it for you with the Mountain Air stamp set. That's what that is. So before we go anywhere, the first thing I want to do is show you, I don't know if you can see or not, but this piece here has been dry embossed with the Snowflake Folder. Now the Snowflake Folder is a new folder in the mini catalog, so if you don't have the August through December mini catalog, let me know and I'll send you one. But I wanted to show you all the folders I've been using lately have been a 3D folder. Now the Snowflake Folder is just a standard folder, and you know it's a standard folder because first of all the catalog says so, and second of all because it's a lot thinner than the 3D folders are. So when you use a standard folder, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my cardstock, and this is just a layer 5 1/4 by 4, and lay it in my folder. And then on our die cutting machine, we want the number 1 platform, a number 3 cutting plate, and then you lay your folder in there. Now when I do my embossing folders, I always go fold in first, and I'm not sure why, I was told to, and I've always had success with it, so that's what I do. And then on the top layer is a number 3 clear cutting pad. So we're going to run that through the Big Shot or the die cut machine. Almost said the B word. It's not a Big Shot anymore, now it's a die cut machine because Stampin' Up came with their new one. And then what you have now, let me put this away real quick and I'll show you, is a piece of cardstock with all those pretty little snowflakes on there. And that, my friends, is how you use a standard folder, so the 3D folder. And all that information, if you get confused or you're trying to find out how to run your folders through, is on here. So it says right here, using a standard emboss folder and using a 3D emboss folder. And like I said, you'll be able to tell the difference because the 3D emboss folders are much thicker than a standard embossing folder. But look how pretty, oh my, there we go, fix that. Look how pretty my cardstock is now. So let's stamp next. I'm gonna stamp my snowman. So I'm gonna bring in my Stamparatus. For this technique, I think you need it. And, oh, there's another one of those. I told you I got a bunch of them laying around here. And a piece of card, this is the crumb cake cardstock. Now, if you don't have the stitched rectangle dies, which why don't you? I think everybody needs them. You can just use a rectangle or a piece of cardstock that is about 2 5/8 by 4 would work just as well. So with my Stamparatus, I have just the base and a piece of grid paper. And then I don't know if you can see or not, but in the center of my grid paper, I have a, what is this stuff called? It's called a sticky grid sheet by Sizzix. Now I think you can find it on Amazon, but what that does is I took and layered a piece there, and then when you put your cardstock on there, it sticks nicely, and then you can use your magnet to make sure that your grid paper, non-sticky, doesn't move. So it looks like that. And now my paper will not move because of that grid paper that's sticky underneath. Okay, then on my stamp set, I'm gonna bring in the snowman, and I want him toward the bottom of my rectangle so I can put some snowflakes ahead above him. Nice, Kathy. Okay, we'll press him down onto the plate. My paper didn't move. I'm gonna use Stays-On ink, and I'm gonna ink him up pretty good. So a little bit of ink on my snowman. One more time just for good measure. And then we close the plate. A little bit of pressure, make sure all over, and then bada bing, bada boom, you have your snowman there. So then with Stampin' Up! Colored pencils, and I'll tell you what, Stampin' Up! Colored pencils, let me show you this way, it might be a little bit easier to see. Stampin' Up! Colored pencils come in 2 different packs. So the one pack for $16 has 13 colored pencils in there, and you can look on your catalog on page 144 to see all the colors that are in there. And then another pack has 10 more colors in there, and it's for $12.50. So you can go and see the different colors in the different packs, but I have just taken a big stamp case and thrown them, whoop, they're falling out, all in there. And I'm gonna start first with the white pencil here, and I'm gonna just sharpen him up. I don't want him a pointy sharp, but I want lots because I'm gonna apply some pressure, and I'm gonna just color my snowman white. And look how that white colored pencil, with a little bit of pressure and patience and time, I'm gonna color him. Now I'm not gonna worry about being, you know, covering up the buttons. I think they're cold, they're not buttons. I'm gonna just press pretty hard and color that snowman so he's nice and stark white. Now when I color his head, I'm gonna be careful that I don't color over his carrot nose because I wanna color that orange. So applying that same amount of pressure so I can get him pretty dark white. White is white dark? Stark. I think I used the word stark white. I don't know. I want him to look like he's made out of snow, not out of crumb cake. Haha. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Make sure I get up by his scarf here. There, doesn't he look pretty white? Then I'm gonna go a little bit lighter down here by the snow because I want my snow to be white, but I want my snowman to be the focal point. So a little bit of snow white down there. So there, I think that looks pretty good. Then the cool thing about Stampin' Up! Pencils is that they have the same colors as the cardstock, the ribbon, and all that. So I'm gonna take some garden green here and just color the leaves on his hat. And then let's see if I can find some basic gray to color his hat. There we go. And then some pumpkin pie. I'm gonna make that a little bit sharper so I can stay in the lines of that carrot nose. There, and look how nice. You can get a nice point when you need it or not, and color that nose there, and then a little bit of balmy blue, which is the same color as our background. And I'm gonna just color his scarf. That looks pretty good. And then last and not least, I'm gonna bring in some, well, let's see if I can find it, some early espresso. Put a little bit of better tip on there, and I'm gonna just color these branches a little bit for his arms. Get a little bit of brown on there. Whoop, like that. Oh, you know what, last but not least, I almost forgot, there's little berries on his hat. I'm going to just take a little bit of cherry cobbler and color. So the colors are right here on the colored pencil. Sometimes the tips up here can be deceiving as to what color they really are. But there we go. So that looks pretty good. And now, because we've colored over all those, oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry, I'm not happy. All those stamped lines, but we haven't moved our paper at all, I can go ahead now and ink up my snowman again. With the same black Stays On ink, and then set that down and watch now. A little bit of pressure all over so I make sure I get him nice and inked up. And you know I like to let it sit there and let the ink sink in. And now look how nice my snowman looks. So now we're all done stamping on him with the snowman, and I can move the paper. And then let me show you what I've done to clean the Stays On off my, now this might be over the top for some of you, and then others of you that are like me, you might think, oh, that's a really good idea. So back when we had wood mount stamps, I took a couple of the stamp or the blocks, and then I cut up an old cleaning pad, I think is what they're called. Anyway, I wrote dry on one and wet on the other. And then I take my Stays On cleaner that you can tell, look how old my bottle is. I've had it forever. Once you buy a Stays On cleaner, it just lasts for a long time. But it has this kind of sponge top, and I'll just clean my stamp like this. Just rub it over there, right? And then take the one that says wet, and I'll scrub him good. Get all that Stays On cleaner scrubbed around and all that ink off my stamps. And then come back with the dry one. And then my snowman, he'll probably never be clean because I've used him so many times with Stays On ink, but now he's as clean as he's probably gonna get. And that's how I clean my Stays On stamps on my Stamparatus. So there you go, one thing you know about Kathy. So let's go back to our card. Put our colored pencils are all away. We have, now I have a piece of Whisper, or no, this is thick Whisper white. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. It's just our simple card base. I'm gonna use my bone folder here to get that crisp edge. Opens this way. Now I'm gonna stamp it first, because if I happen to mess it up, I can flip it over and cover it with some other paper. That's the good thing about Stampin' Up's cardstock, it's double-sided. I know every cardstock's double-sided, but anyway. I like these words here that says, sending you blessings, peace, and magic this Christmas season. So I'm gonna put that on my block. Where's my Stays On ink? Here it is. And just ink that up good. And stamp it down, see if I can get it straight. Right without my head in the camera, right here. And hold that, let that ink sink in. Ta-da! Looks pretty good. And then, with a few of these snowflakes, put those on a block. And I have the balmy blue ink, which matches the balmy blue paper that we're going to put on the front. And I'm going to just kind of stamp a couple snowflakes here. Now the inside of my card is all ready. I'll put this away before I get all on my fingers. And then with that embossed piece, let me fold that down again. I'm going to take some liquid glue. I like to put my embossed layers down with liquid glue. A little bit of liquid glue goes a long way, so a little bit on the back here. Just a little bit there. And center this on the card front. Like that. And then all my snowman needs is a few little snowflakes around his head. So let's take our chamois and clean the little snowflake stamp. Bring in a piece of scratch paper so I don't stamp on my surface here. And now I'm going to use some Versamark ink, which is just a clear ink, and it's kind of sticky. So when I put my embossing powder, my white embossing powder, now you probably can't see the ink, but I can kind of see the little shiny part to know where I want to stamp next. But anyways, I was saying, and as you put your embossing powder, it's just shaved plastic that sticks to this ink, and then we'll melt it with our heat gun onto our cardstock. So this is the white embossing powder. Now it comes in a little container. I throw it all into a big container because then I can just scoop it up with my paper. Ooh, before I move that though, because my ink might still be a little bit wet, I'm gonna take a paintbrush and make sure that that embossing powder is not sticking where I don't want it. Especially now that I got my snowman so crisp and clean with the stamping. Okay, and I'll hold this down, bring in my heat tool, and then whoop, and then just melt that embossing powder onto that paper. Making sure it's all shiny now. It went from a powder to like a solid, I guess you would call it. Now it's all shiny, so I know it's all done. I'm going to put just a few dimensionals on the back of this piece. One in the center so his tummy doesn't sag, a few in the corners. Go back on my card and center that right there on the front. Now tell me, is that not a simple yet really cute Christmas card that you could send to all your friends? And I do love the end sign, sending you blessings, peace, and magic this Christmas season. There you go. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And my special, so in the month of September, when you place an order at my online store of $25 or more before shipping and tax, I'll send you a pack of the Red Rhinestones, just in time for Christmas. I think they say there's 220 little rhinestones in there, so that's quite a few. If your order, of course, is over $150, just go ahead and take the hostess benefits, and then you get 10% more product for free. I hope you liked my card today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here on Friday, same place, 11 o'clock, and I'll show you what I did with my paper pumpkin kit for the month of September. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Bye-bye.